In this week's Parsha, which is Parshas Yisro, we have one of the most monumental episodes in the entire Torah, which is known as Har Sinai. The Har Sinai experience, Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah to the Jewish people. And in the very beginning, before this wonderful, exciting, significant event actually happens, the Jewish people make a declaration. And when they were asked, do you want to receive the Torah? They proclaim, Vayanu kol ha'am yachdav, and the entire nation responded in unison, Vayomru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh. Everything that Hashem said, we will do. And they leave it at that. Everything that Hashem said, we will do. In next week's Parsha, Parshas Mishpatim, we find a very similar response. The Torah is, again, going into the declaration made by the Jews upon in response to receiving the Torah. But here, the Lashon is somewhat different. Here it says, Vayomeru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. We will, everything that Hashem said, we will do, and we will listen. We will hear it. We will receive it. So, why these two expressions? Why in one episode do they only say na'aseh, we will do, and in another they say na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen? There must be meaning to this. So the Meshech Chachma explains that when Klal Yisrael was standing, when the Jewish people were standing at Har Sinai, and Hashem came to present to them this wonderful gift, the Torah, they realized that each individual wanted to accept upon himself the entire Torah, which includes 613 mitzvahs. But if we slow down and think about that, that is not so simple. Because of those 613 mitzvahs, some of them only apply to a Kohen, and some of them only apply to a Levi, some of them only apply to a Melech, some of them only apply to men, some only to women. How could every single Jew honestly say that I am going to accept upon myself now all of the 613 mitzvahs? Seems quite impossible. When they said na'aseh, says the Meshech Chachma, which is in this week's Parsha, they were saying, we as a collective community of Jews who are keeping the Torah, we as a nation will collectively be able to keep the Torah. Meaning, amongst us there are Kohanim who will do it, there are Levim, we'll have a Melech, the men will do their part, the women will do their part. As a nation, we will fulfill the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah. That is the idea that comes out from Na'aseh. We will do it together. Together we will get the job done. So, in next week's Parsha, where it says Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will hear, what addition is being made there? What is coming? What is Nishma coming to add? So explains the Meshech Chachma that when they said Nishma, they were paving a whole other road into the fulfillment of the Torah in its entirety. And that was that even without the klal, even without the entire Jewish people going at it, working together, even the individuals could, in a completely different way, fulfill the 613 mitzvahs. That means that even a Yisrael has a chance to get all 613. And even a Levi, and even a Kohen, to those mitzvahs which don't pertain to him in their Parshas, in the simple, the way it looks, right? The simple meaning, but there's a way they can do it. How?
Everyone else.
Open open up the Sefer. There's an amazing thing about learning Torah. This is an amazing thing. That through our Talmud Torah, through our learning, we can get credit, so to speak. It is perceived in the eyes of Hashem, through our learning Torah, that we are fulfilling the mitzvahs. So if we're a Yisrael, and we're learning the Parsha, speaking about the Kohen Gadol, from the Torah's point of view, we get that mitzvah. A Jew who would never bring korbanos, who would never bring offerings, but learns what the Torah has to say, the laws about bringing an offering in the temple, in the Beis HaMikdash, he gets credit for doing that. This is your Torah. This is what it's telling you. But this is all on what I would call a global communal level. What about on the micro level? What about us? Let's take us for example. What about your community? Every individual Jewish community. How does that work? So what we've seen here so far is that the Jews, we have a certain diversity which does not present an obstacle to fulfilling the Torah. Says the Mishnah in Masechet Semler, in Avos, not far from, in Kamach in Torah, Arba Midos Beholche LeBeis HaMidrash. There are 4 characters who show up to the Beis HaMidrash. Who are they? Well, you have a certain kind of people. There's a certain type. They come. They really don't do much. They don't get in the way. But their contribution, besides just showing up, is really nothing. They're another body, which is, it's a good thing, but they could do more. Then, there is one who involves himself in learning, but he's just as happy doing it in his house by himself than coming to shul, coming to the Beis Midrash. So sometimes you might see him or pop in, but to him it doesn't really make a difference. You could call him week after week after week. Then there is the one who comes and he makes a big impact. Holech ve'oseh. He comes, he gets other people to come. He helps support what's going on. He gets other people to help support what's going on. And then finally, you have the character who never shows up and always has something better to do. And it's not because he has a chavrusa at home. But these are the ones who, after a while, you start hearing all the excuses. This person has the entire list. This is the microcosm of the Jewish people. But what's interesting here, that what this Mishnah says, that these are all considered Holchei LeBeis HaMidrash. Very interesting. Because even the one who never will show up, never plans on it, he's still considered one of the Holchei LeBeis HaMidrash. Why? Because we all share. And even though he may not realize it yet, but he does share in the responsibility, in the chiyuv of coming to learn. That is part of his chiyuv. And somehow, one way or another, he gets himself in there to that chiyuv. But this is the message from this week's Parsha. Naaseh. We can do it as a collective people working together. Naaseh v'nishma. We can do it as a people, even as individuals, on our own, through our own learning. We can accomplish mitzvahs in Torah that, actually speaking, we would not be able to, physically speaking. And we see how this manifests itself both in the macrocosm as well as the microcosm.